Alright, hello. Today I'm going to be talking about my Python programming. Let's start from the top real quick. These two are imports. These two check if you want to enter your program via text or via a file, and they're validated here, this line, and then down here at this line. They're validated. And then if you didn't enter yes for either one, you get told that you haven't inputted yes for each choice, which is shown here by if I do no, it says here you haven't inputted it. And basically you, now I've got text highlighted all through the entire PowerPoint. Nice. Alright, so we'll stop that. Now let's move on to the phrase. This is where it stores the actual phrase. It sets it as a string. Okay, next we get password validation. PH, this one's our import for your text import. It basically tells you to import sentences, so on and so forth, into the importer. Next we have our base values of 0, and these are basically our counters for variables that count the variables. Okay, next we move on to our upper and lower case character checker. Now this one is together in the sense that this can be broken down quite simply. This one basically it checks each individual character in the import, and if the character is one of these, basically every letter in capitalized, it adds one to the upper counter, which sets it each time. Next is works the same in lowercase, except these letters are all lowercase, and you analyze them. It analyzes them. This is one. After that check's happened, we can technically go into our turn everything into lowercase from that input. Hence why here it goes ph lower, so that you can basically don't have to write as much. So you don't have to have, say here for the vowels, it doesn't have to have A, E, I, O, U in capitalized following it. It basically just checks for the lowercase ones. And this works the same here as the upper and lowercase ones, and it will check them. Okay, now we move on to sentences, and a sentence is defined as something that ends in a full stop or punctuation that isn't a comma, obviously. But for this basic program, it has it set so it checks for we can have it check for these. We'll add these in now because we can. It checks for them. There are other finishes to sentences, but obviously they're not on a keyboard that I can see. And basically it checks them, and if it's there, it'll +1 to our sentences, basically the next counter. Next we move on to frequency. Now frequency was a bit different. Basically this program, it will check each line of the input for a character, and then if that character's there, it'll add 1 to that character's counter, else it'll set it to 1 if it sees it. Okay, next we have this bit here, which basically says, if you see down here, it basically shows us that. So let's just test that now for our input. So would you like to enter via a keyboard? Yes. No, we don't want to set it as a file, so we'll type in our text as this. And then bloody as you see the program here, I've entered the sentences, and so if I click enter, it should say these. It sees how many sentences I've inputted, which is 3 because it counts each individual punctuation. It tells me the vowels I inputted, the consonants, and then here's a breakdown of each letter as you can see, because I made it hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. There is 4 H's if I did that check right. See here. It also counts spaces, the punctuation, and it'll add it to the list. Okay, now we scroll down into the actual file checker, which is here, which is basically works in the same way. There's a validation says it, but instead of having it be just the input itself has the open, and you have to include the text. This R here means it'll read the document, and basically, so it's in read format in that format, basically. Next we get here to the phrase, which is ph read. This means it'll read that document as a text file so that you can be read. So basically the same stuff here for all that. Then we get to here, which is the actual file, adding words that are longer than 7 letters. So here it'll split down into the phrase, the file into individual words. Then it'll open the file it's going to write to. The W there means write, so it's going to write into that document, all the words above 7. So for every word in SP, which is the phrase split down into just words, if the length of the word is greater than 7 or equal to 7, it will write that word into that folder, into that new file, and then it will close. So let's test this. Now for this I have prepared 2 files here. We've got train and paper. So I'm going to use train, paper. So first go through that. I pressed space, whoops. Okay, so the file we're going to use is paper.txt. There, and it counts each word, and then the number of uppercases is a bit broke. That can be fixed in a matter of seconds. Oh, I'll fix that in a bit. Why is it counting frequency twice? Boom. But no, that should fix it. It thinks frequency is a part of it. But nah, it checks everything in the file. It should check for the full stop. Now, let's quickly just try that. No, uppercase and lowercase is 1 sec. That's what it's trying to check for. But it's not. 4 characters in PH, that's why. Now, this is on the fly check here. Because I've set it here, else if, to phrase, it needs to be set to phrase itself. Set a PH. Phrase, because it's not PH, because PH is the actual file, not the phrase. Alright, so that basically is a program. See, yeah, now it works because I messed it up. See, it shows that. All working now. Oh well. Anyway, that's the program. Hope you enjoyed and see you.